Good evening, everyone. You are watching The Plus here on News Channel 5 Plus. I'm Casey Mason, and we have been talking tonight here on OpenLine, Ask the Expert, on a very important subject that's assisted living with Rebecca Roberts. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks.
We talked about a lot this evening.
Yes.
I think we've had some great phone calls come in this evening. We do appreciate that. Really some good questions. And speaking of, we actually have Wayne on the line right now, and Wayne has a very, what I think is an interesting question for us. Good evening, Wayne.
Well, hello. I appreciate you taking the time to take my call.
Of course.
Quickly, I've got a neighbor that he suffered a stroke 2 years ago, and he's trying to prove to everybody that he can do it on his own. He'll ask for help, but now it's getting to the point to where he expects everybody to help him, to the point to where cooking, cleaning, picking up, shopping, nothing happens unless somebody does it. And then when you go and visit him, you find out he's basically waiting for somebody to come by and help him. So I'm saying, I feel like if I go up there, he becomes a dependent, but I want somebody to talk with him and say, okay, what do you want to do, and we'll help you do it, you know, to get him through this.
That's a great question, and thank you for calling in, Wayne. We'll kind of address that right now here on air. I mean, that's a tough one. You know,
Right.
you cannot necessarily force someone
Right.
to do something. I mean, he is an adult, and that kind of goes into, as we age, planning ahead. You know, that power of attorney, or you need to designate a child, your responsible child, or a loved one, family member, friend who can maybe step in and make those decisions for you. But yeah, that is something that I'd love to hear your opinion on, Rebecca. I know, obviously that's a tough one.
It is.
I mean,
it's kind of, that's a kind of sticky situation there. Like she said, you know, we can't force anybody to, you know, to do anything, to, you know, to seek help. And I totally understand about the dignity thing. It's you know, wanting help but asking for help. I totally understand the stubbornness and, you know, and all of that. But there is resources out there that can help with that situation.
in Creekside, do you all have maybe a line that folks can call? Your general phone number, perhaps? Is there a certain person they should ask to speak for? You know, and you have someone like Wayne call in. It's kind of one of those things. You know, you do want to see what's the best way to direct someone who's dealing with a problem like that.
Well, I mean, we can always. You can always call in to the facility and talk to one of us, and we could always, I mean, even if I have to get on the computer and Google it, you know, I will do that. You know, just, you know, and to get them some help.
Yeah.
You know, and I totally understand. You know.
I wonder too if you know, it's one of those things that you did mention they have the adult day program.
Right.
If there's a way to maybe get someone to get them to be excited to join that, and on their own free will, that can give them maybe an option just to be in good hands at least throughout the day. But I know we do deal with that. That's a great question. It's a tough one, you know.
You know, and a lot of our residents have gone to senior centers around, and you know, and like adult day programs. You know, like we provide at Creekside, you know, and we have had residents that were what we call respite care, that came in and stayed week, 2 weeks, something like that, and then they would go home. You know, but on the other side of that, you know, when they do that, you know, sometimes they do fall in love with the building, and they do fall in love with the people. So it kind of it's kind of like a stepping stone to maybe, oh, well, maybe this is not so bad. Maybe, you know, maybe I can.
And you all do schedule tours online. You can actually book one of those, and maybe once you, like you said, once you're out there and you see all these amazing things that you all do provide. And I know we did have a question earlier about, you know, how can I afford this? What is, you know, what best means of pay? What's, you know, and it does differ. And again, I encourage you, just from what I'm hearing tonight, that it's always good to just call and you can talk these things through with the folks at Creekside. And that's what we're here doing tonight. You know, everyone's case differs. Now we do have another call this evening. It is Margaret here on line 2. Good evening, Margaret. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Great.
I just would like to ask a question. You had indicated that they do take disabled people. Does the age still have to be 62? And what kind of disabilities do they address?
We're actually, in our community, we are not skilled. So we do not have anything that would be considered skilled nursing. Anything, if they have any kind of apparatus as far as like trachs or or something like that, and we don't our IVs for a long period of time, or if they're on artificial nutrition, stuff like that, we don't take that for a long period of time. I think if they have mental deficits, I believe that would be fine. But like I said, everybody's different. Everybody has to meet the requirements for the assessment that we will go and do.
Of course,
for them.
Yes. I think too, maybe folks along those lines, the first thing that comes to my mind is when you are a senior and you have a child that is an adult, and you're entering the senior phase of your life where you have to start needing extra care for yourself, and you maybe have a child that perhaps Down syndrome is a great example, and you physically cannot care for that child, and they're entering adulthood as you're entering your senior phase. I think that's where I do see sometimes the assisted facilities that do care for those types of treatments as well for folks. So definitely something to always call. And Creekside, in visiting with you all tonight, I know Creekside at 3 Rivers Assisted Living with Memory Care, again, that's in Murfreesboro. And do we want to pop up maybe the information again one last time here for folks, and just kind of, there we go, let everyone know, there's of course the address, and there's the website, and of course the phone number 615-895-3002. And who's one of the best, I guess, folks to chat with some of these questions tonight? Should they ask for a certain person, or
tours? We have Lori Domer. She is our fabulous marketing director. And we have Claudia Hare. She is our executive director. She's also fabulous. And me, I'm always there to answer questions. I'm the director of nursing. I'm right across the hall from Lori.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we've had some phone calls come in tonight. These have been some great questions. I'm happy that the questions we've received are just really ones that need to be addressed, and I think you did a great job answering them tonight, Rebecca. And as we're kind of wrapping up the show tonight, let's kind of bring it back full circle, more about you. You've been at Creekside now 6 weeks, fairly new. And Rebecca, tell me some of the things you're noticing, and just your overall opinion of the ambiance, the environment. And I'm sure it's been a good 6 weeks.
It has. It really has. Just the environment of interacting with the residents, interacting with the family members. They're awesome. They are a fabulous group of people. I fall in love with them more and more every day that I'm there. I love to get out of my office and just go around and chat, and especially like in the dining room, or or something that we can all just like sit around and just chat. How's your day? That kind of thing. They're all the time coming by my office and checking on me, checking on Claudia and Lori, everybody, so we're just family.
Yeah, and that's important to hear. I think family of the folks that are under your care enjoy hearing that.
Well, and I've learned this early on in my nursing career that you treat everybody like they were your grandmother or your dad or your mom. You just kind of have to take that perspective into what they need, and So, yeah.
I'm glad you said that. I think that's a comforting to hear from the director of nursing at Creekside to say that. I think that's comforting to hear. Again, I think this is something that we all have had a loved one that we've needed that extra care for, and it's hard. It really is, and I think it's also important to kind of look for those signs to know when, maybe you do need that extra help, and it's great to know that we have places like Creekside to help out. What is some advice you have for folks, whether it's, emotionally or, we talked about signs to look for, but just in your personal opinion, having you here tonight, what would you like to say to folks? The best advice in your experience so far?
I guess the best advice is there is help. You know, there are people out there that are willing to help, you know, that are willing to do whatever that, you know, that they need to do. Not, you know, like I said before, not just for mom, but for, you know, for the whole family. You know, we have a great team at Creekside, you know, from our chef to our maintenance guy to, you know, whatever. I mean, the families call or the residents call, you know, and they're on it.
Awesome.
They're on it.
And you know, just overall, it's one of those, it's a line of work that you said earlier in the show. If you're just joining us, you know, you did mention this is something you knew you wanted to do at an early age. That's rare to hear. You know, and I think overall, some of the advancements you've seen too, we've come a long way.
Right.
And what's your opinion as far as you're seeing developments?
Right. A lot of them, there is good. There is a lot of good going on with different, you know, the different types of medicine today. They're not just, like I said before, they're not just treating the medical part. They're treating the mental part. They're treating the emotional part. They're treating, of course, the physical part, but the spiritual part as well. You know, we try to tie all of that in together, you know, at Creekside. So, you know, everybody gets the best care all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, overall, that sounds like well-rounded care. Right. So, yeah. All right. Well, I tell you what, we appreciate you joining us here on OpenLine. Again, this is Ask the Expert. Our expert tonight, Rebecca Roberts. We're talking about Creekside at Three Rivers Assisted Living and Memory Care. I mean, this is a place that really provides both ends of the spectrum. If you are still independent senior, you know, and you're looking for maybe a regulated campus to really enjoy your senior living, that's provided, as well as the memory care, which is something that you do have a professional staff, physicians on hand, and a lot of just great activities as well for folks. So, well, we're going to go ahead and take one more quick break, and we'll be right back after this.